In a world where we're constantly encouraged to share every detail of our lives, there's a quiet power in choosing what to keep to yourself. We live in an age where oversharing is often seen as a way to connect, to gain approval, or to feel seen. But what if true strength lies in holding certain things close to the chest? What if, by choosing discretion, you could unlock a deeper sense of peace, purpose, and resilience? The ancient Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, understood the importance of inner fortitude and self-mastery. They didn't believe in broadcasting every aspect of their lives, and in fact, they taught that some things are best left unsaid. They understood that what you share, or choose not to share, can shape not only your life but the way the world perceives and responds to you. Imagine being in complete control of your emotions, your actions, and the way you navigate your relationships without the constant need for validation. Picture a life where your happiness isn't dependent on external approval and your worth isn't measured by likes or comments. This is the power of modern Stoicism, and it starts with knowing what to keep to yourself. Today, I'm going to share 7 life-changing Stoic secrets that you should never share. These are principles that have stood the test of time, and by embracing them, you'll unlock a level of inner peace and strength that can carry you through even the most chaotic moments of life. Stay with me as we explore how discretion and silence can shape your journey, protect your energy, and ultimately empower you to live a life that is rich with purpose and integrity. Are you ready to unlock the secrets to a more powerful, peaceful you? Let's begin. Part 1. Your future goals. Protecting your ambitions. When you think about your future, what do you see? Is it a life of growth, success, and fulfillment? Or perhaps a dream that's yet to take shape, just waiting for the right moment to unfold? Your ambitions, those quiet desires that stir deep within, are not just goals. They are the vision of the life you wish to create. But here's the thing. Your future is far too precious to share with just anyone. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, taught that action, not words, should be our focus. Your goals, your deepest, most meaningful aspirations, are not meant to be shared freely with the world. There's a special kind of energy that happens when you keep your dreams to yourself, when you protect them from the noise of external opinions, doubts, and the distractions of premature praise. You see, too often we share our ambitions too early, seeking validation from others or even from ourselves, and this can undermine their power. When you speak your dreams aloud before they've had the time and space to grow, they become vulnerable. People around you, whether intentionally or not, may question, doubt, or dismiss what you're trying to build. They might even offer their own opinions, advice, or judgments, opinions that don't belong to you and may never align with the path you've chosen. This is why your goals need protection. By keeping your ambitions to yourself, you give them room to breathe, to evolve, and to develop in the quiet safety of your own mind. You protect them from the energy-draining noise of the outside world. And most importantly, you protect your own focus. When you share your future goals too early, you risk distracting yourself with the expectations of others. Instead, keep your vision alive and undisturbed. Let it unfold at its own pace. There's a silent power in choosing when and how to share your goals. When the time is right, you'll know. You'll have lived your vision long enough in your mind, acted on it long enough in your day-to-day life, that it becomes undeniable, not just to others, but to yourself. Think about the most successful people you admire. Most likely they didn't broadcast their plans before they were ready. Instead, they worked quietly, often in the shadows, while their dreams took shape. They didn't need the validation from others because they were too focused on their purpose. And when they finally shared their achievements, the impact was undeniable. So, what does this mean for you? Guard your future ambitions carefully. Keep them sacred. Let them grow in silence until they are strong enough to stand on their own. Every time you share a dream prematurely, you risk exposing it to unnecessary doubt and distraction. But when you protect it, when you hold it close, you give it the best chance to thrive. Remember, your future is yours to create. It's not something you need to explain to others or seek approval for. The most powerful thing you can do is quietly commit to it and let your actions speak louder than your words. The more you protect your goals, the more grounded and focused you'll become in your pursuit of them. The path ahead is yours to carve. Don't let anyone or anything distract you from the vision you hold deep inside. Keep your goals private, protect them, and watch them unfold into something incredible. Part 2. Your weaknesses. Own them, but don't display them. We all have weaknesses. There's no escaping them. You have them. I have them. In fact, it's a part of being human. But here's the important thing to realize. Your weaknesses do not define you. They're not something to hide from, but they're certainly not something to put on display either. In the world we live in, it's easy to get caught up in the pressure to appear perfect, to show only the highlights of our lives. Social media constantly tells you to look your best, be your best, and never let anyone see a crack in the armor. But deep down, you know that perfection is a mirage. You can't live authentically if you're trying to hide behind a mask of constant strength. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, believed that true freedom comes from acknowledging your imperfections, not denying them. Your weaknesses are part of who you are, and they can teach you things you might never learn otherwise. You don't have to hide them or pretend they don't exist. Acknowledge them, understand them, use them as a tool for growth. But don't flaunt them. It's crucial to own your weaknesses, but there's power in knowing when to share them and when to keep them close. When you expose your vulnerabilities too freely, you open yourself up to unnecessary judgment, criticism, and even manipulation. It's like handing someone a weapon they can use against you, and you don't need to give that power away. Your weaknesses are yours to work with, not something to be used to seek pity or attention. What's more, when you openly display your weaknesses to the world, you risk inviting negative energy into your life. People may use that information against you in ways you can't foresee. So while it's important to recognize and accept your imperfections, it's equally important to protect them. Here's a truth you may need to hear. Showing too much of your vulnerability isn't a sign of strength. It's not a way to connect with others on a deeper level. True strength comes from working quietly on yourself, improving what you can, and building resilience. It's not about being perfect, but about being intentional with your growth. By keeping your weaknesses to yourself, you create the space you need to focus on your improvement without outside interference. If you share everything, you invite external distractions. If you keep things to yourself, you have the freedom to focus on what really matters, becoming the best version of yourself. And this process of inner work is something deeply personal, something that is uniquely yours to experience. You don't have to constantly explain your struggles. You don't need to tell everyone what's wrong or why things aren't going as planned. The people who care about you will understand without you having to say a word. And the people who don't, they don't need to know everything. What matters most is how you handle your weaknesses in private. When you accept them and take ownership of them, you are already taking the first steps toward overcoming them. Every small, quiet victory you achieve in silence makes you stronger. And every time you choose not to display your vulnerabilities for the world to see, you preserve your power. Think about it. The most resilient people you know aren't the ones who share every detail of their challenges. They are the ones who take responsibility, quietly work through their difficulties, and emerge stronger on the other side. Their true strength lies in their ability to work through their weaknesses without needing the world to validate their struggles. Your weaknesses are a part of you, yes, but they don't define your worth. They're not your story's headline. Your actions, your resilience, and your quiet growth are what truly define you. Keep your weaknesses to yourself, own them, and let your actions speak louder than any words ever could. Part 3. Your personal relationships. Keep conflict private. In every relationship, there are moments of conflict. You've experienced it. I've experienced it. It's natural. It's human. But here's the truth. The way you handle conflict shapes the relationship more than the conflict itself. And when it comes to handling conflict with the people you care about most, there's a certain power in keeping it private. We live in a world where it's easy to air our grievances to others. Maybe you want to vent. You want to share your frustration with a friend, or perhaps you feel like you need validation for your side of the story. But I want you to pause for a moment and think. When you share the details of your personal conflicts with others, you open the door for them to form opinions about your loved ones. Those opinions, once formed, can be hard to change, and more often than not, they're formed based on one side of the story, the side you told. Here's the thing, your relationship isn't just yours. It's a sacred space between you and the person involved. And when you open that space up to outsiders, you risk contaminating it. You risk allowing their judgment, their biases, and their perspectives to shape how you view your relationship. And in doing so, you lose the strength and privacy of the bond you share with that person. When Marcus Aurelius spoke about keeping things to yourself, he wasn't just talking about your personal struggles. He was talking about the sanctity of your relationships. There's power in resolving things quietly, in choosing not to involve others in your battles. The Stoics believed in personal responsibility and in dealing with life's challenges with composure. That doesn't mean pretending problems don't exist. It means handling them with grace and strength without the need for public validation or pity. Think about it for a moment. How often do you feel the need to share your frustration with others just to feel heard? How often do you feel like your pain will only matter if someone else acknowledges it? The Stoic approach asks you to reflect on that. Your pain and your struggles are real, but that doesn't mean they need to be shared with everyone. When you keep the resolution of conflict between you and the person involved, you preserve not only the integrity of the relationship, but also your own peace of mind. You don't need to air out every fight, every disagreement. The truly strong people, those who cultivate resilient relationships, know that handling conflict with dignity, respect, and privacy is a form of strength. This doesn't mean you suppress your emotions. It doesn't mean you never talk things out, but it means you are mindful of where you seek counsel. Instead of seeking external validation, you turn inward and reflect on what matters most to you and your relationship. Conflict, when handled privately, gives you the space to truly grow. You gain the clarity to understand what you really want from the relationship and what is worth fighting for. When you choose not to involve others, you're showing respect for both yourself and the person involved. You're protecting the trust and the sanctity of the connection you share. You're saying, this is important enough for us to work through alone. By keeping conflict private, you show your loved ones that you value them enough to not let external influences weaken the bond between you. And in doing so, you create an environment where resolution can happen more organically, more authentically. Let's be honest here. Not everything needs to be an open conversation for the world to hear. Some of the most valuable lessons you'll learn in life come from keeping things between you and the people you care about. Those quiet moments of growth where you decide not to let external judgment disrupt your relationship are the moments that fortify your connection. In the end, the strength of your relationship is measured not by how loud you shout about your problems, but by how silently you resolve them. And by doing so, you preserve the dignity, respect, and privacy that allow love and trust to thrive. Your relationship, your peace, and your integrity are worth protecting. Keep the conflict private, and you will find that your relationships become stronger, not weaker, with time. Part 4. Your happiness. Protect your inner joy. There's a quiet kind of happiness that doesn't need to be proven to anyone. It lives in the stillness of your heart, not in the applause of others. And the truth is, that kind of happiness, the kind that's real and lasting, deserves to be protected, not performed. Your joy is sacred. It's something you've fought for, searched for, maybe even rebuilt from scratch. But when you start sharing it too freely, when you constantly feel the need to display how good things are, something shifts. What was once intimate and real begins to feel like a performance, and slowly, the joy that was yours alone begins to depend on how others perceive it. Here's what the Stoics understood so deeply. Joy doesn't come from what others think of your life. It comes from how you feel about the way you live it. Seneca once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." But it also means enjoying that present moment without needing an audience, without needing to prove you're happy. When you post a photo of your success, or a moment of peace, or a fleeting smile, ask yourself, am I sharing this to celebrate or to be seen? It's a subtle difference, but it matters, because once your happiness becomes a tool for recognition, it begins to lose its quiet strength. The most powerful joys in life often go unnoticed. A sunrise you watched alone, a laugh you shared with someone who understands you without words. The sense of pride in finishing something you didn't think you could. These moments don't need a witness to be real. They just need your presence. You don't owe anyone your smile. You don't have to explain why you feel light today or why your heart feels full. You're allowed to keep that for yourself. Not out of secrecy, but out of self-respect. Because your happiness isn't a spectacle, it's a sanctuary. And when you learn to protect it, to nurture it quietly, without needing to broadcast it, you begin to build something unshakable, something the world can't touch. No matter how loud the noise outside becomes, your joy remains rooted. Because it's yours, because it's honest. You may find that not everyone celebrates your joy. Some may envy it, some may question it, and others might try to diminish it because it reminds them of what they haven't yet found. That's why it's so important to hold it close, to know the value of what you found without needing others to validate it. You're not selfish for keeping your joy to yourself. You're wise, you're grounded, you're choosing peace over performance. Protecting your happiness means owning it without showcasing it. It means not letting outside opinions influence your inner weather. It means allowing yourself to simply feel joy without guilt, without fear, without needing to explain why. The world is full of noise, comparison, competition, false smiles, but your life is not a highlight reel. It's a quiet unfolding. And your joy is a light that doesn't need to be seen to be real. Let it be enough that you feel it, that you know it, that you carry it inside you. So today, I invite you to turn inward, to notice the moments that bring you peace and keep them close. To smile without an audience, to celebrate without an announcement, to let your joy be something sacred, not for display, but for depth. Because in the end, the most profound kind of happiness is the kind you don't need to prove. You just live it, quietly. Authentically yours. Part 5. Your financial situation. Keep wealth private. There's a quiet kind of power in not needing anyone to know what you have. In a world obsessed with appearances, with status, and with the illusion of success, you can choose something different, something stronger. You can choose privacy. Your finances, whether abundant or strained, are yours to carry. Not because you should be ashamed, but because your worth isn't tied to numbers in an account or labels on your clothes. It never was, and never will be. The Stoic philosopher Seneca, one of the wealthiest men of his time, lived by a radical idea that wealth is neither good nor bad, it's indifferent. What matters is how you relate to it, whether it owns you or you own your response to it. And the moment you feel the need to broadcast your wealth or your lack of it, you surrender a part of that control. Money amplifies who you already are. If you're generous, you'll give more. If you're anxious, you'll worry more. And if you're grounded, you'll stay steady regardless of what you gain or lose. But once you begin to compare, to reveal, to compete, you start to lose your center. Keeping your finances private isn't secrecy, it's sovereignty. It's the ability to move through life without inviting opinions that were never meant to guide your journey. Because when people know too much, they project their fears, their hopes, and their expectations onto your situation. And suddenly you're no longer living for yourself. You're reacting to what others think you should do. There's strength in being underestimated. In not revealing the full story, in choosing silence over validation, it protects you. It gives you room to grow in peace, to plan without noise, to rebuild without pressure. Whether you're climbing out of debt, building your first savings, or quietly thriving, your journey deserves privacy. No one needs to know how much you earn, how much you've saved, what you've lost, or what you're aiming for. Because your life isn't a competition. It's a canvas, and you are free to paint it without asking for approval. And maybe, just maybe, wealth is more than dollars. Maybe it's time, peace, freedom, the ability to say no when something doesn't align, the chance to take a breath, to step back, to live on your terms. That's the kind of wealth that doesn't show up on statements, but you feel it deeply. If you're doing well, you don't need to prove it. And if you're struggling, you don't owe anyone that story either. What matters is how you face it, how you carry it, and how you choose to build forward, quietly, steadily, with integrity. There's a kind of dignity that comes with privacy, a quiet confidence, and it tells the world without saying a word, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to live with purpose. So protect your finances like you would any precious thing. Not because they define you, but because how you manage them reveals your values, your patience, your resilience. And those things don't need to be paraded, they're felt. And in the stillness of your own journey, where no one's watching, where no one's measuring, you'll find something far more lasting than recognition. You'll find self-respect. You'll find clarity. You'll find power. So keep your wealth private. Whether it's growing, changing, or rebuilding, let it be yours. Let it be sacred. And let your life speak, not through display, but through depth. Part 6. Others' secrets. Honor, trust, and keep confidences. There's something sacred about being trusted. When someone chooses you, quietly, vulnerably, to carry a piece of their story, they're not just sharing information. They're handing you a fragment of their heart, and in that moment, you have a choice to protect it or to expose it. You know what it feels like to be betrayed. To feel your words echoed in places you never gave permission, that sharp sting, that loss of safety. So when someone trusts you, remember how fragile that thread is and how powerful it can be when held with care. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone puts their trust in you, don't betray that trust, even in silence." To the Stoics, integrity wasn't something you performed, it was something you lived, especially when no one else would know. Keeping someone's confidence isn't weakness, it's strength, because gossip is easy. Silence is not. It takes maturity to hold space without judgment. It takes character to carry someone's truth without using it as currency. There may be moments where you're tempted, when sharing someone's story might make you feel closer to another person or less alone in your own struggles. But ask yourself, what are you trading? A bond for approval? Their dignity for your moment of connection? That price is too high. When you keep a secret, you become a shelter. And the world needs more of those. People are aching for safety, for someone who won't twist their words or weaponize their wounds. Be that person. Not because you're perfect, but because you know how deeply imperfection needs mercy. And remember, what you protect in others often reflects what you've learned to protect in yourself. When you hold someone's vulnerability with grace, you affirm that your own vulnerability has worth too. That it's not weakness, it's raw human courage. Being trustworthy isn't about grand gestures. It's in the quiet choices, the decision not to repeat a confession, the pause before responding, the refusal to turn someone's pain into your anecdote. In those moments, you define who you are, not just to them, but to yourself. There's a certain peace that comes when you know you've honored a bond. Even if they never thank you, even if they never know how fiercely you protected them behind closed doors, you'll know. And your integrity will deepen, quietly, steadily. Not every story belongs to you, and not every truth needs to be told to be honored. Sometimes your silence is the most loving act you can offer, and if someone has trusted you with something hard, something messy, something they've never spoken out loud, pause and remember, they saw something in you, something safe. That's not a burden, that's a gift. You don't need to fix them. You don't need to repeat them. You just need to hold space without turning the light onto yourself, without asking for anything in return. That's rare, and that's powerful. So protect their story like you would want yours protected. Speak well of them when they're not in the room. Guard what was shared in confidence like it matters, because it does. Let your character be the quiet room where others can lay their burdens without fear. And in doing so, you'll become not only someone others trust, but someone you trust too. That's the kind of person the world remembers. Not for what you said, but for what you never had to say. Part 7. Your core values and ethics. Live virtue, don't advertise it. There's something quiet, almost invisible, about real virtue. It doesn't demand applause. It doesn't post itself for validation. It just is, steady, rooted, and unmistakably strong. And maybe you felt that pull lately, to live with more clarity, to align your actions with your heart, to be someone you can quietly respect when no one's watching. Your values don't need a spotlight. They need your loyalty. In a world that often rewards performance over principle, you might feel tempted to prove yourself, to show the world you're kind, that you're honest, that you stand for something good. But true integrity doesn't announce itself. It whispers through your decisions. It moves through your silence. It's seen in what you do, not in what you say. You don't need to convince anyone of your goodness. The people who matter will see it in your consistency, in how you treat those who can't offer you anything, in the choices you make when it costs you something to stay true to yourself. Sometimes living by your values will feel lonely. You'll watch others rise faster, speak louder, bend lines you won't cross, but you are playing the long game, because the life you're building isn't built on noise. It's built on depth. Ethics aren't there to impress, they're there to anchor. And you've probably felt that tension, when doing the right thing means being misunderstood, when telling the truth means losing something, when holding to your standards isolates you. But in those moments, your character is sharpening, quietly, powerfully. Don't water down your values to fit in. Don't stretch your truth just to avoid discomfort. You weren't meant to be universally liked. You were meant to live aligned with your soul, your conscience, and the life you know you're capable of living. Let your virtue be your compass, not your costume, and let it speak only when it's necessary, through your actions, not your declarations. Because the most profound integrity often looks like nothing at all from the outside, but inside, it feels like peace. It feels like knowing that no matter what happens around you, you didn't betray yourself. There is quiet power in restraint, in not having to post every good deed, in not turning every conviction into a debate, in choosing to be rather than to appear. That power creates gravity, the kind of presence people can feel, even when you don't say a word. And here's the truth. Your values are not a brand. They are a promise to yourself. To live with honor even when it's inconvenient. To be kind even when no one is watching. To do the right thing, not because it earns you praise, but because it keeps your soul whole. You are your own audience, and in the end, when all the lights go off and all the noise fades, you'll live with yourself, not with your image, not with your followers, just you. So choose to live in a way that makes you proud when it's just you and your conscience. So be firm, be soft, be real, and let your values guide you, not your ego, because when your life becomes a quiet reflection of your deepest truths, something inside you unlocks. You no longer need recognition to feel worthy. You don't crave applause to feel certain. You feel grounded, aligned, at peace. And that's a life no one else can give you, and no one can take away. Live that. Not out loud, but with depth, with heart, and with the quiet strength of someone who knows who they are, even when no one else sees it. Conclusion. So now you know. Some things in life are meant to be protected, not posted, not because you're hiding, but because they are sacred, because they matter more than attention ever could. You've spent time in this video not just listening, but feeling. And if something inside you stirred, if a quiet part of you whispered, "Yes, this is what I've been needing," then hold on to that. That's the part of you that's waking up. That's the voice of alignment, of truth. Your dreams, your struggles, your peace, your growth. These aren't things that need to be explained to the world. They need to be honored by you. The more you protect your inner life, the stronger it becomes, the more powerful your presence grows, and the more magnetic your quiet confidence becomes. Not everyone will understand the life you're building, but that's okay. It's not for everyone. It's for you. So take a breath, return to yourself. Guard what's tender, speak what matters, and walk forward, not louder, but clearer. Not to prove, but to live. And if this message stayed with you, if it reached some part of your story, share it. Not for the numbers, but for someone else who might need to hear it too. Someone quietly searching for the permission to protect what's theirs. Thank you for spending these moments here with me. Now go, live with depth, and let the quiet speak for you. Until next time, stay grounded. Stay real, stay you.